What's going on, guys? I have a new idea on my channel. I'm going to be covering some of the bloodiest battles in history, and I want to kind of make a video discussing how I came to this decision because originally it was supposed to be the top 5 bloodiest battles in history. And when doing the research, that proved more difficult than I thought it would be because what's your definition of a battle? And there was definitely a lot of gray area when comparing two battles to see which was more catastrophic. If you're going by, territory lost or gained, well, in World War One, thousands of people died fighting over a couple miles. So, on one hand, the casualties is up there for World War One, but on the land gained or lost, it's really not. And then you could go into civilian casualties. How many civilian casualties were there in World War One? In most battles, there were very few. And that's kind of hard to compare to, say, Stalingrad, where there were thousands. And then on top of that, how long were the battles? Like Antietam Creek in the Civil War, that was one day. And Stalingrad lasted 6 months. So it was definitely harder to gauge, what was a battle and what was a campaign. I see Stalingrad as more of a campaign rather than a battle, so it was kind of like comparing apples to oranges. And comparing Stalingrad to some of the other battles. And then the fire bombings of Tokyo. 1.5 million people died, but how many of those were civilians? So are we going to, and really that wasn't really a battle. That was just the United States taking it to Japan. So that really wasn't like an open conflict kind of thing in a large field between two forces. It was more of just a bombing raid that completely devastated Japan. So, that's where I'm coming from on that. I think it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to be traveling all over the world. I haven't decided which order I'm going to do first. There's a ton of them, so we're definitely not going to run out, but anytime soon at least, depending on how well this goes. But I think I'm just going to pick randomly. I was thinking maybe I could do historically speaking, or even divided into wars. Almost like the Civil War, World War One, World War Two, post World War Two, and stuff like that. But I feel like it would get a little boring if I just did all the Civil War battles first and then all the World War One battles next. So I think I'm just gonna switch it up a little bit. Maybe do a World War Two battle one day, and then an ancient battle the next, and then keep switching up, keep it interesting because history is boring, but it can be really, really interesting if you put it in the context and you can really put yourself in the context of history. If you can place yourself in those times and in the scope of the battles and stuff, it's really chilling, and I like that. That's what I love about history. And so, and even on top of that, I was thinking, some of the more complex conflicts like World War II as a whole and World War One. When this is all over, I might take those separately and we can go through those, kind of piecing through it, the ins and outs of World War One, the causes and effects, because there's so much more to wars than just battles. And I feel like 80% of wars are fought off the battlefield, and then they're won and lost off the battlefield. Sure, at the end of the day, whoever wins the ground wins the battle. But, without the home front, without the weather, the effect of technology, like in World War One, gas and stuff, the race in technology, the atomic bomb, that stuff really makes a difference. And then the difference comes down to what happens behind the scenes. And that's just another thing that we could go into. But I'm going to do the deadliest battles in history, and I think it's going to be really cool. And you can expect that to start up tomorrow. I would do it today, but I've posted 2 videos a day for the past couple of days, and I don't know. These videos are going to be a little longer because we want to kind of talk about the ins and outs of the battle and kind of get through the whole thing, and some of them are longer than others. Like if we're going for a Stalingrad, we're going to have to cover a 6-month period. So they'll be varying lengths. They're not going to be like killers, like 20 minutes or 25 minutes. They'll be 10, 12 minutes. And I think that's a good time to discuss what happened without completely boring people to death. Keep it interesting. So I hope people like history out there. Give it a chance. It's a lot of fun to learn about, and it's very interesting. If you're playing Call of Duty, then what better is there to learn about history, because so much of it is war and stuff, and it's great. So that's what's coming up tomorrow. If you could please leave a like, that would be great. Subscribe if you want to follow this quest through history more closely and stay updated. That would benefit you and me, so a little mutuality there. That's not even a word. But anyway, thank you, and stay tuned for more videos.